A 30-day all-access pass is priced at $2.99, but for a limited time, we have discounted that price to $2.39, dropping the daily cost to $8.30 per day. Basically, we took $9 Monday, dropped the price, and we're giving you the option to lock the discount for a full 30 days. Even better, for a limited time, we are adding 7 days free. That's a $99 value to kick in once your 30 days expire. This brings your new daily cost to $6.40 per day. So outside of the discount on 30-day all access, we're tossing in a free 7-day all access and $99 value for a combined savings of $159. So to recap, for the next 37 days, you'll get all plays across all sports from your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper played during your access, including 5% best bets for around $6.45 per day. Act fast as the special offer expires at midnight on May 1st.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I am Lawrence Presman. He is Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best daily all-sports betting show on the planet. And we got a great lineup today. I'm excited about the show. I just did puck time. I'm in a great mood. I got first pitch coming up after. Teddy Covers, who's on, and what are they going to be discussing?
Adam Trigger is going to lead off the show. He's going to break down a couple in MLB for us. We'll talk some Royals and D-backs. We'll talk some Mariners and Phillies with Adam Trigger right at the top. Dwayne Bryant is going to join us next. He's going to talk NBA for tonight, Heat and Bucks, as well as some MLB, the Padres and the Cubs. Arthur DiCesare is going to join us as well. Race and sports supervisor over at the Westgate Superbook. We'll get his take on what's going on the other side of the counter. And of course, if we get 100 likes, we'll do a presidential address at the end of the show. And let's not forget, we've got a couple of questions for the BS segment, betting strategies. We'll answer those as the show progresses. So it is a loaded Wednesday edition. Let's get into it.
Yeah, Teddy, right off the bat, before we bring on Adam, I got to tell everybody. So I get on the show 2 minutes before it starts, and Teddy's like, I got a 5% in the NBA going tonight. I'm like, you know what, Teddy? I'm going to promote it for you. I'm going to push the crap out of it. Please send me your streaks and runs so that I can tell them why they should buy the play. So Teddy literally puts in, and I kid you not, 3 paragraphs of information. Like, I mean, I get it, dude. When you're on an NBA run like you are on, the sales pitch becomes impossible to write because you're like, what do I leave out? So it's like, I can't read all of this, bro. I'm going to just pick the highlights. I mean, these are sick numbers, man. I mean, even you even threw in your baseball run, 86% in your last 8 days, your all sports run, 71% in your last 7 days. I mean, this just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. Okay, so with that said, here are the highlights of Teddy's run. 7-1 his last 8 NBA 5% plays. 21-5 since the 2021 NBA playoffs in these 5% plays. Now, Teddy, I know 65% across all sports in the last couple of years in your 5%, blah, blah, blah. The real core run, my bro, the core sales pitch argument, 21-5 your last 26. I think that's the highlight number because that is so sick. Anyway, congrats on these 3 paragraphs of runs you send me. So with all that said, everybody, Teddy's got a 5% play in the NBA. How did I do, Teddy? Out of 10?
12. Better than I could have done.
Nailed it, baby. Okay, Adam Trigger joining us. Adam, we love having you, my brother. How you been?
I've been good, Prez. I'm just thinking about Teddy's run, and it makes me think back to I obviously had a really nice run during March Madness, and I kind of woke up this morning, lost a 5%er last night. I'm like, okay, let me kind of like take inventory of where I'm at this month, because I got to be honest, guys, I had such a good March, and that run through March Madness was so good that I was like, is April just going to be like a disaster, right? Like you always like get
Yeah, of
trained to like
course. Of
wait for the
course.
other shoe to drop. And I'm up 11 units in baseball so far this year, and like I'm pretty happy about it. Like knowing how good March was to like have sort of battled through the next month, getting to the end of the month, and I'm ahead in baseball. I'm pretty happy about it. So I had nothing really to promote. I've got 4% play up right now. I'm going to give it out on the show. And the best thing I could say for me is go take advantage of the 30. What is it? A 37-day deal, because long term I'm probably going to end up ahead, and I think you will too if you jump on that package.
Yes, sir. Well, let's get into some actionable information. Adam Trigger joining us. Ad, you're looking at the Royals and Diamondbacks. Gallon versus Yarborough. Gallon's doing great. 3-1 on the season with a 2.59 ERA and a really nasty whip, 0.80. Yarbo, on the other hand, well, he plays for Kansas City. What else do you need to say? How do we bet this game?
So, Prez, when I was digging into my numbers earlier, surprisingly, the reason I'm ahead in Major League Baseball is the totals. I'm 5-0 on totals, and that's sort of kept me in the green in Major League Baseball so far this year. So I'm going to go for 6-0, and all five of those totals have been over so far. This one is an over. This is a 4% play, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of like sort of what I've been looking for when I back an over. And this goes back to a conversation Teddy and I had on his podcast and maybe on the show a couple weeks ago. These spots are starting to dry up because the odds makers have sort of adjusted to, oh, okay, now there's the steals are creating more runs and there's more contact. So the spots to play these are fewer and farther between, in my opinion. But I think we have one here. So I played over 8.5, 4% play in this game. The first thing I look for is a reason for the line to be shaded toward the under. Prez, you already brought it up. The reason this line is shaded under is Zach Gallen. He is on an unbelievable run. Actually, if you go back to last year, his last 16 starts, he has a 1.73 ERA. He
Wow.
has gone 6 or more scoreless innings, so 6 or more shutout innings in 3 straight starts. If you look at his last 3 starts, in 20.2 innings pitched, he has 29 strikeouts and 1 walk. No one's disputing, like, and this Zach Gallen, I'm a Zach Gallen guy. Like, I've loved this guy since I thought it was crazy that the Marlins traded him. Like, I've been on him since he was a rookie in this league. So Gallen's the reason this is shaded under. And I have no issues with Gallen. Like, I think he's a fantastic pitcher. So I'm looking at anything the Royals can do off of Gallen being a bonus here. But I do think there are runs throughout this game that can equal up to more than 9. So you just throw like the other reason this is shaded toward the under is the Royals offense has been one of the worst in the league. 279 on base percentage is the worst mark in baseball. They're just not a good offensive team. However, again, you've got guys like Bobby Witt Jr. that really haven't hit yet this year. Salvador Perez. Those guys were off to very slow starts, and they've started to come around. So the way I look at this is if I get anything off of Gallen, it's a bonus. When these scoreless inning streaks end, they tend to end in like a big way where it's like the guy just won't have it. So maybe he won't have it. But if he does, I know that toward the back end of this game, there should be runs from both teams because these are what I consider to be 2 bottom 10 bullpen units. Like the Royals, I mean, their bullpen ERA is as bad as there is in the league. But the Diamondbacks were a team that I circled for some bullpen regression after their start to the year. Specifically their depth. Their depth in the bullpen is not great, and they've played a couple of close games the last 2 days. So when you start to get into the back end of that Diamondbacks bullpen, I think there's some runs to be had there. And then we go to the other gentleman you mentioned, Prez Yarborough, starter for the Royals. He's in the starting role here. He's been in that kind of like piggyback role so far this year. Has not done well in that scenario. I think his ERA is up over 7 right now. And I thought about this when I was watching the Durham Bulls play on Friday in Syracuse, AAA team for the Rays. They started a kid named Elvin Rodriguez. They got him from the Tigers, and I was thinking, you know what? The Rays will probably fix this guy because that's just what the Rays do. And I look back at Yarborough, kind of look at his career numbers, and I say, you know what? I wonder if the Rays sort of like maximized him. And now he's in organization. Now he's with the Royals, just a lesser organization, and he's not having the same success. And if you look at his career numbers with the Rays, there wasn't like a ton of success there. He had little spurts of it, but the ERA is up near 5 and stuff like that. So I think the Diamondbacks, who maximize their run scoring opportunities as well as any team in the league, will be able to score off Yarborough. I think both bullpens are vulnerable. And if the Royals can scrape a couple of across against Gallen, I find it hard to believe we don't get at least 9 here, which is what was scored in the first 2 games of this series. So I played over 8.5. There's also the chance that you get to 4-4 and it's a winner, kind of by default. Just a lot of ways that this one can play over the total.
So I got extremely lucky as I've gotten in any baseball game all year. The last time Zach Gallen pitched, I had an over ticket in my pocket, over 9 with juice. And the score was 2-0 going to the bottom of the 8th, and we got 7 in the bottom of the 8th against the opposing bullpen. Gallen was brilliant. All right. Gallen was unhittable. He's been unhittable his last 3 starts. But more than that, you talk about why the juice is to the under here. I've got a different theory for why the juice is to the under here, besides Gallen. Roof closed today in Arizona as opposed to roof open. Now, I know when the roof's open in Arizona, the ball tends to carry. When the roof's closed, the ball tends to die at the warning track. Is that something you pay attention to? Is that something you're worried about for this one, given that the roof is going to be closed for the early start getaway day game?
It's something I pay attention to. Am I worried about it here? No. And Teddy, I'll tell you why. If you ask just Major League Baseball players, I've had the luxury of having a couple I can talk to, but just that if you listen to interviews and whatnot, there's 2 parks that like MLB that always come up when you listen to MLB players talk about where they like to hit. It's Coors Field and it's Chase Field, and it's not Coors Field maybe because of the thin air and the way the ball carries, but Chase Field they always reference the batter eye. Hitters love the backdrop at Chase Field to hit against. It's a massive green wall. There's nothing back there, and so. Yeah, I mean, the roof being closed, okay, maybe they put the balls there in a humidor or something the last couple of years. It cut down on the home runs, and I don't think it's caused overs to be less prominent in this ballpark. But the thing I like that Arizona does, probably as good as anyone, I referenced it, when I was talking about this game earlier, they get on base. They're instantly at second base. They're taking that they're stealing bases as well as anyone in the league. From a percentage standpoint, Corbin Carroll, fastest guy in the league at this point. I mean, he's been setting records on how quickly he goes from first to home. So they have that going for them, and they're still hitting with runners in scoring position. And I think that that might dry up at some point, but that's something it seems to be a little bit contagious. Where when you're hitting with runners in scoring position, you keep doing it until it stops, and when you're not doing it, it's like you can't get a hit with runners in scoring position until you break out. So I'm willing to just kind of ride that Arizona can keep cashing in on those opportunities. And I do think the Royals get something off a Gallen today. You don't see many of these scoreless inning streaks exceed 20 innings. That's usually right around where, they return to earth a little bit, and I'll bank on that here.
Adam Trigger joining us, everyone. Adam, is that your 4% or is the next game your 4%?
No, that is my 4% play, Prez, the over 8.5 in the Diamondbacks game.
So there is a chance that this next game will be shorter?
Yeah, I'll go quicker here.
Oh. Okay. Adam Trigger, everyone. We're going to talk Philadelphia, Seattle, Walker versus Gilbert. I'm just going to get to the bottom line here. Where are we going? What are we doing?
So, Prez, this hasn't made my card yet. I don't know if it will, but I'll just kind of talk in general about the Mariners. That's the way I would bet this. So I think Teddy I think he may have liked the Mariners yesterday, and he got Gilbert scratched. Now Gilbert's pitching today, and he's been a play-on guy for me the past couple seasons. I would want to play on him here in this scenario. I guess the one thing that just holds me back a little bit is the fact that he was pushed back a day because of a shoulder spasm. And I went back to his last start, got knocked around a little bit. So, it's tough to play like team doctor here. But the way I look at it is if the shoulder was an issue, they probably wouldn't risk a guy like, a young guy like Gilbert that's such an integral part of their team in a start here. So I think the fact that he's going to be out there today makes me think that he's probably fine. His fastball velocity was down in his past couple starts. If the shoulder's fine, it makes me think that that will, might tick back up. And if that's the case, he's got pretty unhittable stuff, and he's a guy that I want to back. Now, the Mariners in general are a team that I want to play on because I beginning of this year, I said that this was the team that was going to win the AL West. I still think that's the case. And not just because the Astros are a team I want to play against, but I really think this Mariners team is that good. They got hit by the injury bug out of the gate. They're starting to get healthy. Jared Kelenick's a superstar. 210 WRC plus, leads the league. And, this is a guy who was called up as a young player, took his lumps, got sent back down. He's the real deal. He's a superstar. And it looks like he's really kind of arrived at this point and is going to be a big time contributor to this team. And then their bullpen is like in the top 10 in most metrics, and they're not even like the full version of themselves yet. They still have Chris Flexen starting games. At some point, he's going to be back in the long relief role. They're going to get a couple of their high leverage arms back down there, and they're already rating out like the sixth or seventh best bullpen in the league. So they're probably only going to go up from there. On the other side, you have the Phillies. I'm willing to take a crack against Tawan Walker. He's good, but I don't think he's better than Gilbert. And the Phillies bullpen, this is a bottom 10 unit in the league, even with their recent sort of like uptick out of like the bottom spot. 5.18 bullpen ERA.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they're going to be better than a bottom 10 unit this year in the league. So you give me the Mariners here, minus 115.
Wow.
I definitely think it's worth a look. Not a client play, but I think they're worth a look. They probably find a way to win this game.
Adam Trigger, everyone, and that's a nasty cough by Teddy. Guys, I've met Adam Trigger's future wife. She is delightful and amazing, and the reason I bring her up is she's a lucky girl. Adam could not spell the word quickie if you spotted him the cue. I mean, my God. Adam's the type of guy that's like, let's do it in the shower, and then they get out and they're pruning. Okay, Adam. We get it. You're full of information. It's unbelievable how much info you can pack into a small segment. Anything to promote, or we're done now?
Now we're all set. 30-day specials up on my page. I gave you the only thing I've released so far today, 4%er, Royals, Diamondbacks, over 8.5. Hopefully we get the runs there, and it's an easy win.
Ad, we love you, man. That's why you're on every single week. Get out of here, brother. Teddy covers with a 5% play tonight, everybody. It's in NBA. His runs are ridiculous. It's like diarrhea. That's how good he's doing. If you're ever going to use the promo code TRYWT tonight on Teddy, would be a great time to do it. It is for first-time users, and it's 50% off any daily or 3-day all-access package. I highly recommend you take the 3-day all-access package. Use it on Teddy tonight, guys. He's got a 5% NBA play up, and those plays are freaking gold. Teddy, what did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
We had another NBA mainstream narrative fail last night in every game. What was the mainstream narrative yesterday? Well, the Hawks have nothing left to play for. They're down 3-1. The Celtics are elite. There's no DeJounte Murray. The effort's not going to be there. The T-Wolves are spent. They're shorthanded. They're exhausted. Now Kyle Anderson's hurt. They can't hang with Denver in Denver. Denver's going to close them out with ease. Clippers just lost a pair at home, 3 in a row in the series. It's Cancun time for L.A. Fail, fail, fail. All 3 teams facing elimination fought hard on the road. All 3 teams with a chance to close them out didn't bring their A-game wire to wire. The Hawks winning outright as 13.5-point dogs. A huge late rally to steal it. Boston exhaled. There was still time left in the game. T-Wolves led from the opening tip. They led by as many as 15. The Nuggets were minus 10. Their biggest lead of the game was 6. Never sniffed a cover. The Clips, plus 12.5 for the game, plus 7.5 first half. They led by 9 at halftime. They withstood a 50-point third quarter from Phoenix and still showed life and came back to cover that point spread. Look, pundits might know something about the NFL draft. In the NBA playoffs, the pundits seem to know nothing. And it's definitely worth noting 2 factors here. Last time any NBA team in any playoff game won by a double-digit margin? Last Saturday. All right. We're seeing competitive games. The other factor that you want to pay attention to as the series goes deeper, the home court matters less and less. We saw that last night. We saw that the night before. You don't believe me? You'll see. That's what I learned, Lawrence.
Teddy covers awesome stuff. Guys, I just want to make mention I was on Puck Time earlier today. It was a fun show, but more importantly, as we move towards the 2 p.m. Eastern hour, I will be on First Pitch today. And if you guys checked out my First Pitch segment last week, I won every single game I gave out on First Pitch. And, we spoke about this last week. I'm going to quickly speak about it again. On Wager Talk today, my job is to, create havoc, annoy Teddy, and be entertaining. It's great for the show, crappy for my brand as a handicapper because I never get to ask the follow-ups. I never get to sound as intelligent as the great Teddy Covers is, which is a good thing, Teddy. But I do want to
show. You get to ask follow-ups whenever you want.
Okay, you do the follow-ups. We've got a great thing going. Let's keep it the way it is. The point I'm making is that I want to show my handicapping chops. And I get the chance to do that on First Pitch. So check that out. And the crazy thing is I will be discussing both games that Adam Trigger talked about. I've done a deep dive into both of them. So please join me and Drew and Jimmy Adams, etc., on First Pitch later on today. Dwayne Bryant joining us, and that's exciting to me, man. Dallas Cowboy fan, and more importantly, probably the most prideful American I've ever met. How are you, Dwayne?
I'm good, Prez. How are you? I'm licking my wounds a little bit though. I lost a 5%er last night too, like Adam. I'm a guy that I'd rather get blown out and have it not even be close. But last night's 5%er could have went our way, and just the bottom of the sixth inning just completely went, haywire. There's one of those situations where the manager leaves the pitcher in one batter too long, just long enough to give up a 2-run homer, and then it fell apart after that. So I'm a little disappointed today, but I'm looking forward to bouncing back.
Yeah, and it happens, man. Carm lost his 5% as well last night on Carolina. I mean, these things are going to happen, and people need to realize that although these are the strongest plays we put out, they are still only 1% more than most plays we put out. And for me, 2% more, because 90% of my plays are 3% plays. But Dwayne, it's going to happen. Before we get into it, real quick question, because you and I have never met personally. We've spoken on the phone many times, and I have a lot of respect for you. Are you going to come down to the meet and greet in late August?
Oh, absolutely. I will be there for sure.
Nice. Okay. NBA, Miami playing Milwaukee. Nobody saw this coming. Miami has a chance to close this out tonight. Huge line on Milwaukee, though. Total of 219.5 as well. How do we bet this game, Dwayne?
Well, first, I got to say, I'm stunned at what Miami's offense has been able to do in this series through 4 games. I keep waiting for it to come apart, and it just doesn't. They shot 54% from the field, 47.6% from three-point range. And that 47.6 from three-point range, I mean, Milwaukee's only shot 47.8% from the field in this series. And this was a Miami team that had the 25th offensive rating in the regular season, and a Milwaukee team that had the 4th best defensive rating in the regular season. So there's no way I saw this coming. And now we've got Milwaukee in a 1-3 hole. It's do or die at home tonight. I'm expecting Milwaukee to come out strong here. They have shown a tendency in this series to come out strong early when they're coming off a loss. They lost game 1 at home. They came out in game 2, put up 81 first half points, led by 26 at the break. Then they went and lost game 3 in Miami. Came out in that last game 4 there on the road and led that one by 7 at the half. Actually led that one by 11 going into the 4th, and then got outscored 41-25 and lost by 5. That was the Jimmy Butler show in that one. Not that the whole series hasn't been the Jimmy Butler show. But, the Bucks have come out strong in this series when coming off a loss. I expect that to once again be the case here as they're facing elimination tonight. I do like the first half at -7.5 better than the full game. At minus 11.5 last I saw it, because these games so often change after halftime. Momentum gets stopped during that break. Adjustments are made during that break. And what happens in this game tonight when, if it's the fourth quarter and Milwaukee's got a lead, does it get in their heads what happened late in game four? I want my bet decided before that happens. I think it's more likely that the Bucks come out like their hair's on fire early, and Miami can't quite match their intensity, at least early on, because they know if they lose this one, they still have two more shots to finish the Bucks off. And the next one's at home in Miami. So it might be as square can be here, but I do like the Bucks minus the 7.5 in the first half.
Bucks first half. I'm curious. At this stage of the playoffs, we got the three series that are 3-1. The Knicks are minus 500 against the Cavs right now. The Lakers are minus 900 against the Grizzlies right now. But with a 3-1 series lead, the Heat are only minus 130 against the Bucks. You think Milwaukee's live to win this series? If you're having to make a series bet today, who do you take?
Man, that's tough. They're definitely live. There's no doubt in my mind. Despite how this first four games has gone, the Bucks are clearly the better team. But like I said, I can't explain what Miami has done here, except Jimmy Butler just completely catching fire.
Yeah.
To perform offensively the way they have through four games, and every game I've been waiting for that other shoe to drop, and it just hasn't dropped. So if I had to make a series bet today, I would take the Bucks at plus money. I think they can still come back and steal this.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Dwayne. Dwayne Bryant, everybody, you can find him at WagerTalk.com, another exclusive handicapper to our group and a really great guy. We get a chance to meet up with Dwayne August 19th, I think it is, at our meet and greet in Las Vegas at the Westgate. If you guys haven't booked your ticket yet, please do so. The longer you wait, the more it will be. Dwayne Smiley Waka. Cubs versus San Diego. I'm just going to get right into it. Go.
Well, this game is basically, and I didn't mention it, but that Bucks first half play is actually a client play that I gave out earlier. This play on this game is also a client play that I gave out earlier. This is basically me just buying low and selling high here, with a touch of my contrarian nature thrown in for good measure. I do lean Padres here. I gave out first 5 innings. I do like the full game as well. I just try to stay away from bullpens whenever I can, unless I'm betting an over. So I did go first 5 here. And I'll start with the buy low part. I'm buying low on San Diego's Michael Wacha. He's off 2 back-to-back rough starts. And when I say rough, that's an understatement. He's given up 12 earned runs and 21 hits in just 8 1/3 innings against Milwaukee and Arizona in his last 2 starts. And I'm selling high on the Cubs lefty Drew Smiley. Smiley took a perfect game into the 8th inning in his last start against the Dodgers. And not only that, but he's only allowed 2 runs total in his last 18 1/3 innings over his last 3 starts. And the Padres just got shut out by another Cubs lefty last night in Justin Steele. So we have one starting pitcher on the road who's been getting lit up like a Christmas tree, and the other starting pitcher at home has been pitching lights out for 3 straight starts now. And yet this line is basically even. And then if you look at the bullpen situation, if you're going to go full game, the Cubs have performed better so far this season in almost every advanced metrics category that I look at. So given all of that, especially all the 2 starting pitchers, why is this line near even? If you put Waka's last 2 starts next to Smiley's last 3 starts on your screen, or on a piece of paper, who isn't going to want to jump on the Cubs at home at this price? It just doesn't make sense to me, and maybe I'm missing something, and it certainly wouldn't be the first time. But the contrarian in me is saying take the Padres here.
Dwayne Bryant says, look at San Diego to knock off Chicago at Wrigley Field in MLB action today. Dwayne, what do you have to promote? What's going on right now for you and your clients?
I just gave out the only 2 plays that I've made and released today so far. Now, I may add on to that this afternoon. I'm not sure just yet. Got to do a little more digging. So I don't have anything up on my page for sale at this point. Hey, guys, go check out Teddy's 5% NBA tonight. That's my advice at this point.
Yep. I agree. 21-5 on those plays, Dwayne. I'm gonna bet it too, man. I'm betting your play tonight, Teddy, unless you don't want me to, which I respect. Dwayne,
So this is the answer. If you're gonna mush me, don't bet it. If you're not gonna mush me, it's fine to bet it.
how the hell will I know whether to mush you or not? Anyway, Dwayne Bryant, outstanding
That's
work.
the point.
Teddy, no commercial break. We're running late. That is the case. I mean, listen, from now on, moving forward, Marco and Adam will be on Wager Talk Today, and we will only have one other guest, not two. Theodore, it's time for our BS segment. And guys, this segment is getting a lot of love. So I need to ask you all a question. Please answer it in the comment section after the video goes live, and that is, where should we put the BS segment in the show? Right now, we have guest 1, what did we learn? Guest 2, BS segment. Guest 3, presidential address. If you think we should reorganize the show, let us know. Also, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, give us some love. Teddy Ant E writes, question, my bankroll has increased over the last year or so, and I'm nervous to up my bets. Lost my bankroll more than once. I've gone from a couple of hundred to 3,000. I know I need to up my bets, but by how much? So, Ant, first off, congratulations on moving a bankroll from a few hundred to 3,000. That is outstanding work. Now, we have delved deep into this a lot, and I'm going to be super quick here. My suggestion to you is simple. You never up your bets, and you never decrease your bets. Your bet sizing is always a percentage of your bankroll. So if you're betting 3%, 4%, 5% plays, let's say 90% of the plays you are making are 4% of your bankroll. Your bankroll, that 4% is what you bet. So as it goes up, so do your bets naturally. My suggestion is that you rejig every single Monday. So at the end of a 7-day period, if 4% of your bankroll is an $80 bet and you go on a big run, come that following Monday, 4% of your bankroll will be a $90 bet or an $87 bet. So always stay the same, but make it a percentage of your bankroll instead of a unit size. I cannot stress how crucial this is, guys, because that is the way to take advantage of exponential growth. And exponential growth is the most important thing in the world. If I went golfing with you and we played 18 holes and I said, let's play 10 cents a hole and we'll double it, the 18th hole is a $13,000 hole. That's exponential growth. So my answer again is same percentage of bankroll every single bet. Just change the dollar amount as you go up or down based on the size of your bankroll. Teddy, anything to add?
So I agree with 95% plus of what you said. The one thing that I'm going to disagree with is you're saying the same percentage of your bankroll for every bet. Most bettors don't do that. There are step-up wagers. There are action wagers, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why we have the 3, 2, 3, 4, 5% designations at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. Never, under any circumstances, when you actually have a bankroll, you're on a risk more than 5% of your bankroll in any individual play.
So I don't think you fully listened to me because you agree with me 100%.
No,
you
I heard every word.
100%.
Maybe you misstated yourself.
Because
again,
I did say you're betting 3%, 4%, 5% of your bankroll. Keep doing that. Just adjust the number based on your bankroll. But
yes, and
try
then
to
at the
bet
end, when you
around
recap, you said bet the
90% of
same
your
amount of
plays.
the same percentage on every one, and I
Okay.
said no, that's not what you do. Which is the
Okay.
truth because it's not
Okay.
what you do. So
Everybody
even though you might have said it
understands.
right once, when you were recapping, you said it wrong.
I
The
love
key
you.
of the show is to make sure everyone gets accurate information. So when you screw up, you say, okay, I screwed up.
You're
Yeah,
like
Teddy, you nailed it.
you're
Arthur
like a
DiCesare, let's
giraffe
bring
when
him
you
in.
get mad. You're like a giraffe when you get mad. My neck. Okay, next up, Ron Godot. Oh no, Art. Well,
Oh,
Art can stay for this segment. Art, we're in the middle of
sure.
the BS segment, but we'll get to you, Art. Firstly, Art, do you have anything to add to that first question?
You guys are feisty this morning. I'll say that. Yeah, I mean, listen, as someone who's just, a casual bettor, I mean, more than a casual bettor, obviously, I'm in the betting industry and like to bet, but yeah, I'm a guy who, sticks to his units. I don't have some crazy, beautiful system that I go about, but, if you're a 110 to win 100 bettor, that's what you bet. Stick to that. Don't go to 550 to win 500 or, 1100 to win 1,000. I mean, stay within your means, stay within what's good
Yeah.
for you. And that's always how I feel.
So, Art, we're still in the BS segment, and we can go all the way to around 12:53 for you, so we'll get to you. But this is another really great question from Ron Godot, and that is, are there any situation plays you feel are must bet on plays? Teddy, you can start with this one.
So there's never a must bet situation. There are many situations that are going to point you towards a team, point you towards one side or the other. But in saying, is there one situation that every time I see it, I'm going to bet it? I'm sure there is one. I can't think of it offhand, and I apologize for that. But in general, situations are going to point you towards a play. They're not
Yeah.
going to actually get you on the play. That's my 2 cents, Lawrence.
Yeah. So, Teddy, I mean, look, it's hard to pick one out of the blue. I mean, I can tell you from my perspective as a guy who follows the Maple Leafs closely, anytime they lose to a shitty team and they're playing a really good team next, that's an automatic bet for me. So there would be an example of a situation that is absolutely automatic. Whenever the Raptors go on the West Coast and they come back, for some reason they play that Sunday game, first game back. It's a 1:30 start, bad time zone situation for them. Betting against the Raptors on that Sunday early start after a West Coast road trip is an automatic bet for me. And to give you another example, Marty Schottenheimer. I don't know if you guys remember him, but he was a coach in the NFL for about 20 years. After a loss, he was around 82% against the spread. So although we can't take advantage of that anymore because Marty is gone, that would be another example of an automatic bet that I made. You guys have to go find these bets on your own. But yes, the answer is that. Art, anything to add to that section?
You always hear about these situational plays. Home team coming home in an NBA series down 0-2, take them in the first quarter or the first half. I know Marco likes to talk about the Sunday night baseball team who then has to travel the next day and play a game. I think what Teddy said, though, is the way to go. You could get keyed in on one of those and it could lead you to look at the game, but it doesn't mean you have to bet the game.
Yeah, Art DiCesare joining us. Teddy, take the segment over. Let me listen and learn.
So I want to ask about the strip right now, and I know that the Westgate is slightly off strip, but I mean, Las Vegas. I've heard these horrible reports about gridlock and the F1 race that they're repaving the strip for. Are you dealing with that? Does that affect your business at all when like everything around you is under construction and you can't go down the strip, or is it a non-factor at the Westgate Super Bowl?
Well, Teddy, how you've lived here, way longer than I have. I've been here almost 10 years, but it almost feels like there's always construction in this city. So that's kind of something we always deal with. But yes, the F1 has obviously ramped that up and put a lot of pressure on the strip. we don't really deal with it. I think when you're at the Westgate and you have the nice little back parking lot that you can kind of zoom in and zoom out of, and all of our customers can take advantage of that, it really doesn't affect us that much. If I was still working for a Caesars property like I was years ago, it definitely would have affected me and affected some of our business. But no, as far as we go at the Westgate, still business as usual.
Let's talk a little postseason basketball and hockey right now. Are there any teams? Let's start with the NHL. Any teams that are particularly hot in the betting marketplace in the NHL right now? Teams that are taking more money than you thought they were, game in, game out, or is round one not that way? And obviously, here in Las Vegas, the Knights are going to take more action. But has that been a legitimate factor for you in this series? Do you have to price Winnipeg slightly differently because of all the Knights' money that's coming in?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I think if you look at the game, I believe it's tomorrow with the Knights, basically like a minus 180 favorite. They're almost a $2 favorite in that range, where the series has been a lot closer than that. So obviously, we know that the Knights are looking to close the series out. They're at home. They haven't particularly played that well at home, but I think a lot of people are feeling that, the fact that they went to Winnipeg and got those games, especially the one that they ended up surviving giving up the 3-goal lead. But yeah, we priced those games a little bit different. I think I look at it as the big favorites take the money. And when, you have teams like the Bruins and you have teams like the Avalanche and teams who basically every game you almost have to lay $2 and more, bettors don't mind doing that. It's not a regular season game in January. They don't mind laying that type of price, if they have to, if they got to extend their bankroll a little bit more. And, they stay away from the puck line. Like the Bruins tonight, they'll lay minus 230. They have no problem doing that. We really haven't seen much of that yet. That's basically where we open the number. For us, the totals come down. It was 6.5. It was over minus 120. We're now at 6. So, we've come down a little bit on the total there. So you've seen just the movement there as far as that Bruin game.
And last NHL question here. Who wins the Cup, Arthur? If you had to make one bet today on one team to win the Cup, who would it be?
Wow, that's a great question. Prez is not going to want me to say but Toronto, they look great. I mean, if they get over the hump here, I know they're going to have Boston in the next round. But for us, Toronto's now the third choice. We've moved Toronto all the way up to 5-1 to win the Cup. Obviously, we have them behind Boston, and we have them behind the Avalanche still. And the Avalanche are in a huge Game 5 tonight at home. No Cale Makar. The Kraken have been tough. The Kraken have scored the first goal in every single game in that series. So that series has been back and forth. I still think the Avalanche get by. But man, the Maple Leafs, if they can exercise those demons, I think they got a real shot to upset Boston and move on to the Stanley Cup and possibly win it.
Toronto live in the NHL postseason. When you start hearing stuff like that, you start to get worried if you're a Maple Leafs fan because they haven't.
Not worried. No, dude, I'm in a win. I'm in a situation where I expect to lose. So let the chips fall where they may.
Sure. When Michigan won the national title in football in '97, I rooted for the Wolverines and bet Washington State plus and ended up cashing. And it was one of the best days of my life. They covered the point spread and we won the national title. Dream scenario. So I understand why sometimes you want to bet against your team. Let's shift focus to the NBA for tonight. A rare midweek 4-game night in the association. What are you seeing at the Westgate? Are there any teams that are particularly attractive to the pros or the Joes in NBA betting action? And anything stand out to you on Wednesday night card?
Yeah, it's a big 4-pack tonight, Teddy. Obviously, with only the 2 NHL games, a lot of early baseball. The focus tonight will be on the NBA. We'll just go down the games. Heat at Bucks. Obviously, this is the surprise series. The Heat with the 3-1 lead. We open the Bucks 11. It's now 12. First half action as well. 6.5. Now 7.5. Obviously, the Milwaukee money is going to flow in. People think eventually they will turn it around. The sharp and wise guys and pro bettors have been happy to take the Heat in a lot of spots. We haven't seen it yet, but I think, the fact that we're at 12, maybe if we get to 12.5, maybe there will be some buy on the Heat. I think that eventually does come. Knicks, Cavs, Knicks with the 3-1 lead. Really no movement yet. It's been the 5.5. Cavs Favorite at home, 202.5 is the total. Really no movement there, so not much to speak of. Lakers at Memphis. Memphis trying to stave off elimination, down 3-1. We opened Memphis 3.5. It's now 4. Just a slight tick towards Memphis as far as the money goes. Warriors Kings is crazy because the De'Aaron Fox news kind of flipped the number and ruined the number, and it was all over the place. But now that it's settled, it's Warriors -1.5. Slight road favorite, 234.5. I mean, this has been an old school 80s series, up and down, a lot of points, even though 2 of the games have stayed under. But you would think in this type of game where it's basically, in a 2-2 series, if the winner wins game 5, they normally win the series. You'd think you'd see some defense tonight. So I think eventually we'll see under money from the pro bettors, and over money will always come in from the public. And then just one thing to touch on, because we already have it. Suns at Nuggets as a second round series matchup. We opened the Suns as a slight -120 favorite. It's now moved up to -125. So the Suns, despite being an underdog in game 1 and despite not having the home court advantage, the Suns are the favorite in the series.
In a series where if it's a 7-game series, Denver will be favored in every game at home. But Denver at home is going to be -2, -2.5. Phoenix at home is going to be more like -5, -5.5. Hence the fact that the Suns are favored in the series, even though they're likely to be dogs 4 times in 7 games. Of course, talking with Arthur DiCesare, race sports supervisor at the Westgate Superbook, at ArtDice21 on Twitter. An excellent follow. Always tweeting good info. Art, before we let you go, let's get a little run around the horn when it comes to MLB action. Are there any teams that are getting action day in, day out? Are people betting the Red Sox over every day? Now they're 18-7 to the over. Are there any auto bets? Are we seeing the momentum build on some of these squads? And anything stand out on today's MLB card where the money is flowing?
For us, it's the go against the worst teams in the league. And I think we've talked about this. Teams like Oakland and Washington and Colorado and, the real bottom feeders of the league, eventually, and those teams are always, the team who's going against them, no matter who it is a $2.5 favorite. But we're going to get to a point where we're going to have to price a lot of these teams as $3 and $3.5 favorites just because of the way it is. We're not quite there yet, but we will eventually get there. It's just there's no way around it. I understand the worst team who is, let's say it's the A's. They're still going to win 55, 56, 57 games. But it's just, we also have to fight against the parlays. There's so many parlays early in the season where you could just fade those 2 or 3 worst teams and you can get, some plus money on some parlays. As far as today goes, obviously there's a lot of early games, but a couple of the later games, Dodgers at the Pirates. Pirates, obviously, one of the most surprising teams in the league. Dodger money's come in. There's no shock, even though the Dodgers are a little bit down. But Dodgers were -120, now -136. So almost a 20-cent move to the Dodgers. And Astros Rays, which has obviously been, an intriguing series with 2 of the best teams in the American League. Houston money came in. We opened the Rays almost -130, was -128, now -117. So a 10-cent move to Houston. So Houston money's come in after their 5-0 win yesterday.
Art DiCesare joining us, everyone. Outstanding work at ArtDice21. Make sure to follow him on Twitter. Art, Javier Cash asks, Prez, ask Art if he's doing any promo codes for rooms. Does that even fall into your jurisdiction? No.
Javier, I wish it did, my man. And if it did, as I always tell people, they can come down, they can see me, I can get you hooked up with anything you want in the sports book. I wish I had hookups for the rooms, my man. I apologize that I don't. I wish I did.
There you go, Art DiCesare, everyone. Art, thanks for joining us. We love having you on. It takes time out of his day every Wednesday for us, Teddy.
It's his day off, so let's make sure he gets a chance to promote before we let him go.
Oh, well, has he gone? Art, you still there?
I'm here.
Arthur, I forgot to get you to promote. I'm hungry,
it's all good,
man.
fellas. It's all good. Listen, guys, it's always a pleasure to come on. This has been, a mainstay in my repertoire for a long time. So, but yeah, listen, guys, you come down to the Westgate, come check us out. I'm there, not all the time, but basically, more than half my
It
life is
feels
spent
like it.
down at the Westgate. Exactly. I'm there plenty. And if you're ever down there and you need help with anything, whether it's getting set up for the app, drink tickets, seats, sheets, even just a little, 5-minute tutorial on how to make some wagers. I know a lot of people don't know how to bet baseball. So, maybe they need something like that. I'm more than happy to help you. Come down, you ask for Arthur DiCesare, and I'll help you out.
There we go. Peace out, as Big Daddy just said in the chat room. Thanks, Art. Teddy, we did get over 100 likes, but barely. Really was hoping for more. Guys, before we get into the presidential address, we have no questions for tomorrow's BS segment. Please, when this show gets put up, in the comment section, ask a question. Teddy and I will take care of it. We'll go over the same stuff. It's no problem. We're really enjoying doing this segment. So please ask those questions. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, take advantage of Try WT if you've never purchased from us before. 50% off of any package that is a 1-day or 3-day package. Daniel, cue it up, baby. All right, guys, I got a couple of NHL bets for you tonight. Teddy's going to join us in this segment with a bet as well. Before we get into that, I just want to tell you, I'm up profit in NBA, in NHL, and in baseball. I don't know what more I'm supposed to do here. I've made $100 unit bettors, $12,000 since October 1st. Just think about that. You're betting $100 a unit. You're up 12 grand since October 1st. I'm winning in every single sport. I'm doing it almost every day. And tonight I got a huge NBA card, 3 NBA plays. I have 2 baseball plays and 1 NHL play, all 6 plays for only $19. Go over to WagerTalk and take advantage of that. As for your 2 NHL free bets for tonight, I like the under in the Boston, Florida game. It is 6.5. And I like the over in the Colorado Avalanche game. You can find 5.5s out there, but most of the lines are 6. Don't forget, Teddy covers as a 5% play in the NBA tonight. He is 21-5 in his last 26 5% plays. Teddy covers. What bet do you have for our listeners as well?
Well, first pitch is about 10 minutes, so take advantage right now. Let's look at the Red Sox and Orioles over the total. This series is already 5-0 to the over this season. The Red Sox 18-7 to the over in their first 25 games. These are emerging trends worth riding, even in early start action. Look at the over, Baltimore-Boston.
Teddy covers. Awesome stuff. Guys, before we leave you, Washington Redskin writes, keep bragging, Prez. Wash. If Brad Pitt called himself handsome, he wouldn't be bragging. He would be giving you the facts. I'm not bragging. I'm giving you the facts. Teddy, Shawarma Day, take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the Wednesday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, you guys know what to do. Enjoy the games, and best of luck with your wager.
A 30-day all-access pass is priced at $2.99, but for a limited time, we have discounted that price to $2.39, dropping the daily cost to $8.30 per day. Basically, we took $9 Monday, dropped the price, and we're giving you the option to lock the discount for a full 30 days. Even better, for a limited time, we are adding 7 days free. That's a $99 value to kick in once your 30 days expire. This brings your new daily cost to $6.40 per day. So outside of the discount on 30-day all access, we're tossing in a free 7-day all access and $99 value for a combined savings of $159. So to recap, for the next 37 days, you'll get all plays across all sports from your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper played during your access, including 5% best bets for around $6.45 per day. Act fast as the special offer expires at midnight on May 1st.